Welcome back. The criminal investigation into former President Trump's family business is reaching a critical phase. The outgoing Manhattan DA, Cyrus Vance Jr., is narrowing his focus to whether Mr. Trump fraudulently inflated the value of his assets to obtain better financing. One person with a lot of insight into Mr. Trump's financial dealings, particularly pre-2017, and perhaps the direction of this case overall in New York, is his former personal attorney and fixer, Michael Cohen. Cohen, who pled guilty to charges including arranging hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels, ended his 3-year sentence last week, much of which was spent at his home. Cohen also has written a memoir of his time with Mr. Trump called Disloyal. Michael Cohen joins me now. Mr. Cohen, welcome to Meet the Press, sir.
Nice to see you, Chuck.
So let me start with what you know about the Manhattan DA. We're not far from the end of the calendar year. He's termed out. We know this. We know the new DA hasn't been read into the investigation yet, since he's not been sworn in. Should we expect to see actual indictments before the new year?
You know, I generally try not to talk about the DA, which is now also includes the Attorney General's civil case in the same exact matter. So I really try not to talk about it because it's their investigation, nor do I want to tip off Trump or the Trump organization's people about what is actually happening. So, you know, I would rather just not answer that specific question other than to say that you can bet your bottom dollar that Alan Weisselberg is not, and I truly say, I mean this, Alan Weisselberg is not the key to this. They are going after Donald, they're going after Don Jr., Eric, Ivanka, they're a whole slew of individuals, family as well.
Right. You were just referred to Alan Weisselberg, the chief financial officer. He was indicted. It looked to a lot of observers that this was the type of indictment that was brought against you, essentially, which was, in the previous cases, which was to squeeze you and hope that you would cooperate. Were you surprised Alan Weisselberg hasn't cooperated?
Yeah, so they didn't really do to Alan Weisselberg what they did to me. You know, the threat against me was that they were going to file an 85-page indictment that was going to include my wife. They were going to say she was a co-conspirator to the hush money payment, which is absolutely nonsensical. And look, I'm married now 27 years. I'm with the same woman for 29 years. There was no chance in the world that I was going to put her at risk with these animals. The way they came down on me is nothing like what they're doing to Weisselberg. They should be squeezing right now Barry Weisselberg, who worked for the Trump organization, and they should be squeezing Jack Weisselberg, who is one of only 2 organizations that made loans to the Trump organization that we still know. You know, when you talked about whether or not Donald Trump inflated or deflated his assets,
right,
every single word that I had said about that is 100% accurate.
Are you their only witness on this, or have they found other witnesses? Because it does seem as if they have this hypothesis, but you've got to prove it. You're one witness. They're going to want somebody in the Trump organization actively, too. Do they have it?
Yeah, so, again, I don't want to get into the investigation at all, but rest assured, I am not their only witness. And most importantly, what I gave to them are thousands and thousands of documents. And as you know, in law, there's something called documentary evidence. I'm not asking anybody to believe me. No different than when I testified before the House Oversight Committee. Every statement that I make, I've backed up with documentary evidence. I truly believe that they could indict Donald Trump tomorrow if they really wanted. And be successful.
Do you believe, considering what they're investigating, are you confident you did help Donald Trump commit crimes?
I can assure you that Donald Trump is guilty of his own crimes. Was I involved in much of the inflation and deflation of his assets? The answer to that is yes.
I take it then you've been given some level of immunity from the DA and the Attorney General in New York, have you not?
Yeah, my case is over. It was over when I had pled guilty. It was all part of one big giant package.
So everything here...
And it's amazing that I'm the only one. Yeah, it's amazing that I'm the only one that ended up doing prison, right, and indicted, incarcerated out of this entire group. I mean, the documents speak for themselves.
It's funny you say this because I wonder, here you've been cooperative to the government, both on the federal level and the state level. Some might argue, oh, you could have been more cooperative at different times. But let's set that aside. You have. no one else has been either held accountable or has come forward. Why do you think that is?
Because the system is broken. I did over 400 hours of cooperation. I didn't get a day off. I didn't get a minute off. I didn't get a second off of my sentence. They ran me door to door on this, which basically was nothing more than campaign finance violation. All of the allegations that were centered around tax evasion are just not true. And, again, when they squeezed me so hard that and mine was in 48 hours. I had from Friday to Monday to plead guilty, but I don't even want to go into there. My case, that part of my life, I'm trying to put behind me. I'm trying to move forward. Now the goal is to ensure that those people who are responsible become responsible for their dirty deeds. I should not be responsible for Donald Trump's dirty deeds. Donald Trump is the one who was involved with the campaign finance violation, as was Alan Weisselberg, as was Don Trump Jr., Ivanka, Eric, and several other individuals. They need to be held accountable. And I, like everybody else, am waiting for both Cyrus Vance Jr.'s district attorney case as well as Tish James's civil case. Move forward and start moving forward a little quicker.
Do you now believe that the Trump Organization is a criminal enterprise?
Yeah, I don't even know how to answer that. Are they a criminal enterprise? Let's just say that they committed crimes.
And why are you so convinced he's not going to run when it seems as if, one could argue, Barack Obama humiliating him at that White House Correspondents' Dinner in 2011 motivated him to run? I know you think humiliation is the reason why he may not want to run and lose again, but we've seen him use that as a motivator before.
Yeah, so this should become a documentary, and it should be called The Greatest Grift in U.S. History. Look, Donald Trump has made it very clear, right, that he is grifting off of the American people, these supporters, these individuals that are just sending money to him at record levels. So one of the biggest problems for Donald Trump is that he makes a statement, right, that I'm thinking about it. That's only to keep the grift growing, and to keep the grift going. It's really amazing that people don't see exactly what the guy is doing. I talk about his sociopathy throughout Disloyal. I talk about it on my podcast, Mea Culpa, ad nauseum, right? Please understand, Chuck, and this is really important for all of the viewers as well. One of the things Donald Trump has done is grift off of the big lie that the election was stolen from him in 2020. It was not stolen from him. If he loses, which he will in 2024, what happens to the big lie? The big lie disappears. He can't now be like the boy who cried wolf. Oh, they stole it from me in 2020. They now stole it from me in 2024, right? Now that goes out the door, and there goes his money. There goes the big grift. So like I said before, it's not going to happen. He's going to run it like he did in 2011, right to the very, very last second.
Michael Cohen, you've spent a lot more time with him than I have, and many others who have watched. We'll invite you back and see what we think soon. Thanks for coming on, and I hope you had a good Thanksgiving holiday.
Chuck.
Alrighty.